Good day, everyone. Today, I'll be presenting a comparative look at security of tenure in the Philippines versus Singapore within the wider context of comparative labor law in Asia. We will see how the Philippines emphasizes job protection while Singapore focuses more on flexibility and what this means for both employers and employees. So our main objectives are threefold. First, to compare Philippine labor laws with those of key Asian economies, focusing mainly on Singapore. Second, to identify key differences in employment contracts, employment benefits, and termination rules. And third, to apply these insights to the question of job security versus flexibility, which is the heart of this comparison. So, to start, in the Philippines, security of tenure is a constitutional right. That means an employee cannot just be dismissed without a valid reason and due process. If dismissal is illegal, the employee can be reinstated with back wages. Meanwhile, in Singapore, the law allows employers to terminate employment by giving proper notice or paying salary in lieu. So, no reason is needed if notice is served, but wrongful dismissal is prohibited, like dismissals based on discrimination or retaliation. So one country stresses protection while the other country stresses contractual freedom. Next, on the Philippine legal framework. So in the Philippines, security of tenure is both in the Constitution and the Labor Code. So employees become regular after 6 months unless validly terminated. So employers must follow due process, including the so-called twin notice rule. So, ibig sabihin, no? So, one notice to explain the grounds for termination and another to inform the employee of the decision. So, dismissal is only valid for just causes like misconduct or authorized causes like redundancy, retrenchment, or closure. So, each cause has its own procedures and benefits. On the Philippine probationary and fixed term. So in probationary employment, the rule is clear. The employer must communicate performance standards at the start. If not, the employee automatically becomes regular after 6 months. For example, in Abbott Laboratories and or versus Alcaraz, the Supreme Court ruled that employees must be fairly evaluated based on known standards. So fixed contracts are valid but cannot be used to escape the security of tenure requirements as seen in Brent School versus Zamora. And even if there is a valid ground for dismissal, failure to follow proper procedures still leads to employer liability as in Agabon versus the NLRC. Next is on the Philippine remedies and enforcement. So if an employee is dismissed illegally, the law requires reinstatement without loss of seniority and full back wages. If dismissal is for authorized causes, the employer must pay separation pay. So the NLRC and even the Supreme Court often stress both the substantive or valid reason and procedural or due process, which is the aspects of dismissal. So this makes the Philippines one of the stricter countries in Asia when it comes to job security. On the Singapore legal framework, no, Singapore is very different. So the Employment Act requires termination with notice or payment in lieu, but it does not require a reason if the contract terms are met. However, in the tripartite guidelines on wrongful dismissal, which is updated in 2024, it provides examples of dismissals that are not allowed. For example, discrimination, retaliation for whistleblowing, or dismissals without due process in misconduct cases. So if dispute arise, the case first goes to the TADM or the Tripartite Alliance for Dispute Management Mediation. And if unresolved pa, no, to the Employment Claims Tribunal. So on the Singapore wage system, one of the unique features in Singapore is its flexible wage system, which splits the pay into three parts. Number one is the basic wage. Second is the monthly variable component, and the third is the annual variable component. So this allows wages to adjust depending on business performance. So Singapore also uses the progressive wage model, which links increases to training and productivity in certain industries like cleaning and security. So this complements the flexible hiring system by ensuring workers still enjoy upward wage mobility. So next, on the uh, head-to-head comparison of the Philippines versus Singapore. So let's compare directly. So in the Philippines, job security is guaranteed by law. So dismissals must have valid grounds, and reinstatement is often the remedy. This gives employees stability but can be burdensome for employers. So in Singapore, no, the focus is on flexibility. Employers can terminate contracts more easily as long as notice requirements are met and the dismissal is not wrongful. So this helps businesses stay competitive, but employees face less security. So it is essentially a trade off between worker protection and employer flexibility. Okay, so it is the Asian snapshots lang po. So to give context between the Vietnam, the Thailand, and Malaysia. So to in Vietnam, the labor code strictly limits when employees can unilaterally terminate contracts, and minimum wages are set nationally by decree. So in Thailand, the law provides structured severance pay based on years of service. And in Malaysia, no, disputes over unfair dismissal go to the industrial court with strong protection under the Industrial Relations Act. So next is on the overtime pay comparison. So overtime rules also differ. So in the Philippines, employees can earn 25% for overtime with higher premiums for holidays and rest days. While in Malaysia, overtime pay is 1.5 times for normal days, 2 times for rest days, and 3 times for holidays. So it capped at 104 hours per month. So in Japan, the rates are also tiered. 25% for standard overtime, 50% for more than 60 hours a month, and 35% for work on holidays. So this comparison, shows how labor costs vary and it affect competitiveness across Asia. Next is on the wage setting. So in terms of wage setting, so the Philippines uses regional wage boards, under the NWPC. So this means each region has its own minimum wage. So depending on local conditions. On the other hand, Vietnam uses a national system where the government sets region-based minimum wages through decrease. So this makes adjustments for uniform across the country. So the Philippines has a decentralized model while the Vietnam has a centralized one. So, in conclusion, no, the comparison of security of tenure between the Philippines and Singapore highlights how the labor systems reflects its broader national priorities, where the Philippines emphasizes strong worker protection through constitutional and legal safeguards, while the Singapore prioritizes employee flexibility supported by a clear dispute mechanisms, showing that striking the right balance between stability and adaptability for ensuring both employee welfare and economic competitiveness in Asia. So, thank you for listening and have a good day, everyone.